thank you all for your attention and for being here this evening. And I now am going to hand over to immediate past District 71 Director and Chair of the Leadership Committee, Mr. Gerard Mannix.
Thank you so much, Siobhan, for your excellent introduction and hospitality. It is really an honor for me to have you here this evening for our leadership webinar. The purpose of this webinar is to introduce you to different roles that are happening this evening, and I'm honored to have those people present. I might just go to, first of all, describe what the Toastmasters International mission is. We empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. I wish to welcome many of our members from District 71, and also in the general room, there were people from other districts also. So you're all most welcome to that. I want to thank the Zoom volunteers who are with us today. Our communication with regard to leadership, and we're seeking leadership for the year 2022-2023, starting on the 1st of July. The call for nominations has gone out already to each member of our District 71. The first call for nominations closes next Saturday on the 15th of January. Now, all the details that are required are within that communication. Should any individual have any question, I'm more than happy to share either by email, telephone, or Zoom to explain their individual needs or questions. So that without further ado, I just wish to introduce our first presenter this evening, who indeed has been a great colleague of mine and member of Toastmasters and has served our district extremely well. Our past district director, Patricia O'Reilly. I have requested these people to explain their role and to expand on it. So Patricia, I hand the platform over to you, please, and you're most welcome, and I'm delighted to have you here this evening. Thank you.
Mr. Immediate Past District Director and First Vice President. To paraphrase John C. Maxwell, leadership is not about money, titles, or power. It's about how you impact, support, and encourage others. Now, for me, this sums up the whole ethos of servant leadership. Leadership is not about you as a leader. It's about how you as a leader look after the members. As a past district director, I am often asked, which was my favorite role on the district? Now, if you asked me as a mother, which was my favorite child, I would say that I love my children equally, just in different ways. Similarly, I love each role that I served on the district, just in different ways. As club growth director, it was the thrill of building new clubs. Many of you on this call have helped build new clubs, so you know the thrill you get when the club charters. There's nothing like it, and as club growth director, you get a thrill as you welcome each new club into the district. As program quality director, I was uber happy to be organizing training, to be overseeing the conference, to be promoting the Distinguished Club program. When it came to the district speech contests, well, I was the spreadsheet queen as I moved contestants and contest officials around my contest worksheet. And as district director, you have the satisfaction of supporting others in these roles, while together you support the district in working towards fulfilling the district mission, which is, of course, to build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. So what did I learn from my years serving District 71? Well, to answer that, I have to go right back to when I was an area director, because that was the year that I learned just how passionate I was about the members and the clubs. That was the year that I learned how leadership, especially servant leadership, is not just about the head, it is also very much about the heart. I served 6 years on my district leadership team, and for every decision I made, I always asked myself, is this in the best interests of the members? Is this in the best interests of the clubs? Is this in the best interests of my district? As a member of the district team, I began to properly understand how teams work. We support each other when faced with challenges, but we also recognize each other's achievements. As Region 9 advisor, I love when I hear district leaders discussing how they can best support their members and their clubs to give them a more rewarding Toastmasters experience. Being a district leader is rewarding. You will learn how to be an effective member of a team. You will learn that you can make a difference to the members, the clubs, and the district. And you will learn a lot about Toastmasters International and how the organization works. John C. Maxwell said, leadership is not about titles, positions, or flowcharts. It is about one life influencing another. I would highly recommend that you step up and become a leader who makes a difference to yourself, to the members, and to the clubs in your district. Immediate past district director.
Thank you so much indeed, Patricia, for that very, very comprehensive summary of your 6 years experience with Toastmasters in district. Now I'd like to call upon Larry Lyons, who's our District 71 parliamentarian currently. Larry comes from the same division as I do, and Larry has been my successor as division director in Division B, so that indeed the principal part of our meeting this evening is succession, and that we have leadership to continue and make continuity. So Larry, I hand over to you, please.
You go to a restaurant and you look at the menu, and there's many, many choices on the menu. And you're wondering, what will I go for tonight? And you're really, really hungry. And you may scroll down and go for the usual. Maybe fish or T-bone steak. Well, the menu of life is something similar. There's many, many choices. And sometimes we just go for the usual, our comfort zone. And if I look back at my first part of my life, my career, that was me. I was in the comfort zone, not willing to take a chance. And even though people were asking me to take up various roles, I passed them by. Why? The fear of public speaking. As simple as that. However, D-Day did arrive when I joined Toastmasters. And my whole life took on a totally different journey. Such an exciting journey that here I am this evening talking to you about it. Little did I know back then that I would. Yes, as I was saying, I was held back in life, but once I joined Toastmasters, I started taking on the leadership roles within the club. And I think I've done all of the various roles, officer roles. And step by step, I was building up my confidence, my leadership ability, speaking in front of others. And gradually, I was getting excited about what was lying ahead. And then I was asked to do area director. And sometimes when you're asked to take on a leadership role, you might say, I'm not able to do that. It's not for me. And I was like that too. But each time I took on the challenge. And you know that the great thing about Toastmasters is there's always someone there to help you out. I went from area director, then a couple of years later as divisional director, and learned again in that role. And step by step, I was building up my confidence. I was building up a profile of myself that I was using for my workplace. And then the final chapter was when I was asked to be parliamentarian. I kind of said to myself, no, I'm not able to do that. But yes, I said yes because I had done the previous roles and I got on okay. And then I started adding these to my CVs. And suddenly my work life changed. Instead of coming last in interviews, I was coming at the top of the interview panels. And suddenly my career took off. And now I'm at the top of my scale, the ladder in my chosen career, and I'll be retiring shortly on a greater salary than 20 years ago. All because of the power of Toastmasters. All because of the leadership roles that I took on. And when I went in for interviews, I was able to show them that I was doing jobs in Toastmasters, all the various competencies that were sitting in front of me in my chosen career, leadership, delegating, organizing, planning. These are all vital roles in your career and also in Toastmasters. And Toastmasters is a safe environment to learn. You will get help from others. You can test yourself out to see how you're able to do it and bring that into your chosen career. So I would say to anybody here this evening, have you ambitions in your life? If so, step up to the mark, take on that challenge, and I can tell you, you will be rewarded down the road. You may have a bit of fear at the start. We're all here to help you. Step up, take it on, and I guarantee you, you'll ring me in 10 years' time and say, thank you for that, or maybe 5 years. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Larry, for that stimulating thought. I think what we should do is edit that to make a testimonial as a promotion for Toastmasters. You did so much with regard to that. I really, really loved it and enjoyed it. Thank you so much indeed. So now our next presenter has been past Division C Director last year. And it is my honor to introduce Marion Brennan. Marion, I let you have the stage, please.
Thank you very much, Gerard. And everyone that's here this evening, I'm so delighted to be here with you and to be a Toastmaster. My journey began in 2012, and I took a team of unwilling soldiers along with me to a meeting in IBM, encouraging them that I had heard about this amazing place, that people could learn how to present and stand up and lose their fear. And here am I today. I was the one that stayed. From that first time that I stood there and listened to the first speech, I was hooked. And I embarked on a very positive journey, as did my fellow colleagues who have already spoken here tonight. For me, as a leader in Toastmasters, it's been inspirational, motivational, educational, but most of all, what I have got out of it is the wonderful people that I have been privileged to work with along the way. Now, I know many of us stand back when we're asked to step forward. We don't like to put ourselves out there. But I am here this evening to tell you, face your fears. You're the one that's going to grow. I had always this passion about helping people to be the best they could possibly be. But I can honestly say the leadership skills that I have gotten from Toastmasters, from taking on roles, from club roles even, VP PR, from doing president, and getting the confidence from those roles brought me forward to my leadership role as Division C Director. Now, when I took that on, I didn't know what I was facing. But one thing I was assured, that I had friends around me that were there to help and support me. And that's what I had, that true sense of Toastmasters, that camaraderie, that safety net. So I would say to any one of you, if you're having any little niggling doubt about that next step forward, let that fear go, because there's people there to help you and support you. What did I get out of that role on Division C Director? I was looking after 22 clubs from Belfast right down to Navan, more or less the East Coast. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't hard work. It was hard work, but it was very rewarding work. I got to meet the most amazing people. I was privileged to be able to help clubs, to help to bring the district to distinguished level, to help clubs to get to that level. And I was only one little cog in that wheel. It was the people that were all working around me, working with area directors, working with club officers that brought that there. But it's the whole family of Toastmasters that makes that. But for you yourself as a person, if you want to further develop in your own career, as Larry said, and couldn't have said it better, this is what gave me the confidence in 2016 to start my own business. Do it, grab it. You will be helped. You will be minded along the way. And there's nothing more rewarding than getting up there and seeing people achieving. So I'm here. This year, I was to be on the chair of the alignment committee, and Faith comes along and knocks you off your pedestal. And for health issues, I've had to withdraw from that, and it's with regret. But I can tell you, when I'm back to full health, and please God, next year, I look forward to taking on a leadership role again, because it has been an amazing experience. And it's one that I would like all of you to be able to witness and share. So fellow Toastmasters, as the great book told us some years ago, feel the fear and do it anyway. That's what I'd say to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Marion. That was absolutely excellent. I appreciate it. I appreciate your story of being a division director, and you're a division director in a different era to when I was a division director. We were in the physical part where we drove around to the different clubs, and how you're here and you did the same thing on the way you described it as the family of members, the family of Toastmasters, which I would agree and concur with 100%. The welcome one gets at a club and being able to support and listen to people's problems and stuff like that. It's a great way of communication and, delivering leadership also with regard to what they need or want. From my heart and all of us, we wish you a pain-free and a good recovery in your health, that you may be well.
Thank you very much, Jared. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Indeed. So next is Eric Downey. Eric Downey is from Division A. He's Area 3 Director. And Eric I choose because he's repeating his year this year as an Area Director. So I'm sure he comes into us with about 120% proficiency with regard to being an Area Director. So Eric, I invite you to the stage, please, and thank you for being here.
An Area Director. That's what I've been asked to talk about tonight by Mr. Mannix. And fellow Toastmasters, leaders and future leaders. After a president, you may have the opportunity to become an Area Director. What is an Area Director? Well, first of all, how does it fit in the hierarchy of Toastmasters? If we could compare it to the church where the members of the congregation, the president is the parish priest, an Area Director would be the bishop, the division director would be the cardinal, and the district director would be the pope. And we have Pope Daniel Sanders with us tonight, Pope Daniel I. And then after that you become divine. If we could get back to the PowerPoint, think of the word pogla. Write that down, pogla, or pogla if you're speaking in Irish. So P stands for progress. As an Area Director, you are helping clubs and monitoring their progress by doing area visits, where you call to each club and you basically write down what their intentions are after discussing it with them, and then you go back for a second visit, maybe 6 months later, to find out how they are progressing. And organisation. You learn to organise competitions at an area level, help clubs with their own individual competitions because they may not be familiar with the rules. How is it run? How many people go forward from each competition to each level? And also organising the training along with the district division director and ensuring that the clubs each have at least 4 participants in each session. Guidance. You are there to help each club if there's a problem of any kind, or if they have questions about procedures or what do we do next. You are there to help them. You are their servant, not their master. Leadership. You're basically showing leadership to each club in your area. You could have as many as 5 clubs, but you are the person that they look up to lead them, to become better clubs. How do they get new members? You help them with all these type of things. Now, I don't want to take up too much more time, but assistance, as well as leadership, you are assisting everybody. It is very rewarding because you get to meet more people from different clubs, and you also are asked to be general evaluator at many clubs, and also to help out with their various competitions. Also, I found as an area director, other area directors ask you to help them with their competitions, either taking part as an officer or helping them in general as a judge or whatever. And it's not a daunting position. Don't be afraid of it. It is very rewarding, and there's plenty of help there. There's plenty of help from other area directors as well. So sorry the old PowerPoint didn't work out tonight, even though it worked very well earlier. And I'd like to thank you all for listening to me tonight. Carry on.
Thank you very much indeed, Eric, for your inspirational words on being an area director. Indeed, an area director can sometimes, and definitely on Zoom, can be a challenging situation. But where you give guidance and assistance, that's the main principle with regard to that. And you're a feedback to your division director, and you guide also the club visits, you know, where you're communicating with your clubs and then send a report on their individual progress and where they want to have a success plan into the future. So I really said thank you so much for that. Now, we're getting a small bit scarce on time, so I might ask the chat monitor, Philip Slattery. Have you any questions, Philip, for any of these 4 presenters, please?
No, no questions have been sent to me from the chat.
No questions at all. Yeah, okay. So that it is coming up to the bewitching hour of 19:30, I will prematurely invite our first Vice President of Toastmasters International, Morag Mathiason. Morag, it's an honor to have you in our company and addressing our meeting and assembly this evening. Morag, as she described to me earlier this evening, lives in Germany. She's a self-employed person, and she holds a master's degree in business administration with a feature in pharmacy services. And she has worked in different departments in different countries. The great thing that I've heard, and I see a quote from Morag is, and it came up at with a district officer training day yesterday. And one of the breakout rooms was that we needed to submit testimonials with regard to how people thrived being in Toastmasters, just like what Larry gave us this evening. So I might quote Morag, what she has said. Growth in confidence is the biggest single benefit to be gained from Toastmasters. By establishing and extending their competence in all forms of communication and leadership, members are able to make a positive impact throughout all aspects of their lives. That is very, very well indeed. Beautiful words. And it is so true to life in our experience, in our clubs, in the different members that we know, the different members that we support, the different members we observe, improving and achieving. And some of the whole stories that we had from the 4 previous speakers were all describing their journey and how they felt the challenge. So indeed, on behalf of District 71, I would like to invite our first Vice President of Toastmasters International to give us a presentation on stepping into leadership. Morag Mathiason, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gerard, Immediate Past District Director. Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and dear friends. It's such a pleasure to be invited to share some thoughts with you this evening. I'm going to share a little bit about my own personal leadership journey and some thoughts and reflections from that. It was April 2015 in this picture. I was on a ship on the Red Sea in Saudi Arabia with over 100 other Toastmasters. You have to look very closely if you want to see me in that photograph, but trust me, I was there. I was the region advisor, and I was there to visit their district conference. It should have been a great event. Over 500 people were registered. But just as everyone was gathering for the conference, something went wrong. The authorities reviewed the paperwork and decided that they were not in order. And so the conference had to be cancelled immediately. And people were already on their way. I was so impressed by the district director and how he sprang into action. He immediately got his team and he said, okay, let's divide up the list. We contact everyone. If they haven't already left, tell them not to come. It would be better if they stayed home. And once they sorted out that immediate issue, they then decided, well, we have people who are already here. We need a plan B. Plan B was this boat trip on the Red Sea the next day. I was just enjoying the boat ride, sitting there in the sunshine, chatting with people, when suddenly one of the district leaders called out, hey, we've got Morag, the region advisor here, and we've also got our keynote speaker, Lance Miller, the world champion. They could just deliver their speeches right here, right now on this boat. Everyone cheered. They thought it was an amazing idea. I wasn't so convinced, as you can imagine. here I was sharing the stage with the 2005 world champion of public speaking. No notes, no final preparation, no breathing exercises, nothing. I walked very slowly to the centre of our stage and delivered an off-the-cuff speech about why you should think about saying yes before you immediately say no. The crowd clapped and cheered as I walked back to my place, and I thought, well, at least I got to speak before Lance Miller and not after him. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that this might happen to me. I only joined Toastmasters to meet people and have fun. I had no concept of the possibilities that might lie ahead for me when I signed that membership form. And maybe some of you can identify with that. I joined Toastmasters just after I had relocated to Germany as a way to meet new people. And I loved my club meetings. The meetings were great fun. And afterwards, we always went to the bar next door for a drink or some food or just to hang out. For the first year, I was content to work the education programme, got fully engaged in my club meetings and just enjoy the social dimensions of club life. Until the day the Vice President Education and President made a beeline for me. And when they come as a pair, you know you're in trouble. We were wondering if you would be willing to serve as an officer next year. And I thought, yeah, I guess I probably could. And I'm thinking maybe secretary or sergeant at arms or something like that. And they said, well, we were thinking Vice President Education, but don't worry, we have a spreadsheet and we'll help you. I thought about it and I couldn't find a reason to say no. So I said yes. That first invitation to step into leadership was the beginning of a series of invitations and decisions to step up and take a chance. Each time the opportunity came, I thought, could I do this role at all? Because it's kind of crazy doing something that you absolutely know requires specialist skills that you don't have. I'd think, what might it mean to do this role? How might it benefit me and others? And then I would think about, what if I said no? And honestly, I've not found a good reason to say no to any of the leadership opportunities in Toastmasters that have come my way. Saying yes, in fact, has opened many doors for me in my professional life and has helped me to stop being a hidden leader and step into the fullness of who I am as a leader. After that term of being Vice President Education for my club, I was president the next year, and the club hosted both our area and division conferences, and my team did a great job, I have to tell you. Just after that final conference, the division director called and told us that the team that was due to host the next district conference had just pulled out. Could my team put together a bid for that conference within the next 7 days, and the conference would be delivered 5 months later? Could we? I'd only been a Toastmaster for a few years. Many people would not have trusted me with that responsibility, but my division director had seen me lead a team to take on smaller responsibilities, so she trusted me. And also, I had experience of organising large events outside of Toastmasters. I spoke to the team and everyone agreed, do you know, this could be a whole lot of fun. So after several months of hard work and fun and pizza for the team, because team marches on its stomach, doesn't it? Shortly, we pulled off what to some people would have seemed the impossible. And shortly after that, the PQD came to me because we'd worked together on the conference. And she said, I've really enjoyed working with you. How would you like to be my admin manager when I'm district director next year? She told me all about what the role involved, the time commitment, and I knew I'd be able to do it. But boy, I wasn't prepared for that first meeting. That first meeting, my first role in the district executive committee, I listened to other members of the team discussing situations, strategies, goals, budgets, 3-letter acronyms, and I swear I was on another planet. But when I look back now, I see how quickly I became familiar with it all. The team supported me, and my knowledge of Toastmasters grew exponentially at the same time. I was becoming established in my district. On a personal level, I was expanding my network of contacts and my own personal leadership capacity. I enjoyed the year as admin manager. It was fun. So I thought I'd apply for a second year. But the DLC, the District Leadership Committee, had another idea. They asked me to run for division director, and I was beyond shocked. But the DLC chair was persuasive. And so I was elected to a small division comprising 13 clubs in 3 areas spread across 4 countries in Europe. And I loved it. If I'd done a second year as admin manager, I would have settled in the comfort zone, and I would have missed out on all these amazing opportunities, the new challenge. I got to know the area directors, the members in the division, and I saw how only a small number of people ever travelled to division events. Well, it was a huge size of a division. One of the areas was so spread out that the area director had to take 2 days off work to visit one club. I wanted every member to expand their Toastmasters world. I wanted them to get the maximum from the programme. I wanted them to come to events, meet people, get new ideas, and feel good about their membership. I wanted members to be able to take up leadership opportunities beyond their club. And it was clear to me, if we wanted that in our division, we would have to make the work more manageable. And so we worked very hard delivering that district mission of building new clubs and of creating amazing clubs, which allowed us to raise up a whole new training team. And it was such a wonderful experience. I found myself filling out the paperwork for a second term. But the next year, the DLC came again, and this time they asked if I would run for PQD. Up until now, you might have noticed that I haven't mentioned much about my own personal development, my own personal growth in Toastmasters. That's because up until that point, I didn't have a clear vision for what I wanted personally. I just knew I loved making it great for other people. I knew the things that mattered to me. I knew that I loved to make a difference. But then I met Benjamin, and he was one of our past district leaders who challenged me not to stay in the comfort zone and settle for an easy life, but to tackle the unfamiliar. And he would be there to support me through it all, which he was. And that helped me to grow my confidence, meaning that when the time came, the DLC didn't come and ask me. I willingly filled out the paperwork to become the district director of a district of over 220 clubs spread across 18 countries. I could have looked at that as a lot of work for someone who only came to Toastmasters for fun. And if I did that, I would probably have run a mile. Alternatively, I could see the opportunity. I was being given the chance to be the CEO of a pan-European organisation supporting thousands of people to grow and develop their communication and leadership skills and enhance their confidence. It turned out to be the biggest leadership learning experience of my life. As district director, I knew I had to become the best version of me as a leader, to bring my own personality, my own values to the role. I couldn't be a copy of someone else. Doing that allowed me to release the leader that was hidden inside of me so that I could step up and fill the role that was waiting for me. Throughout that term, my journey of development as a leader ran in parallel to the district's growth and development. I learned what excellence looked like in myself and in my district. I decided my district was the best district in the world. Therefore, I needed to be the district director of the best district in the world. And that was reflected in how I approached the tasks I had. I got to know only too well what my values were, because they're always tested when you're in leadership. And I discovered what it meant to make a way for others to grow. After district leadership, I served as RA, as you can see here, in Europe, the Middle East and Africa, which allowed me then to see different dimensions of leadership, being a coach and a consultant to others, growing cultural awareness. And through it all, I was growing to become more of an international leader. I didn't have in mind then the future roles that I might have in Toastmasters. Stepping up to serve on the board of directors and now serving as first vice president wasn't something I planned or even imagined. But step by step, this has become my unique journey of leadership. My husband joined Toastmasters on the same day as I did, and his journey is quite different. He has served in every club officer role many times. He's been an area director, served as district admin manager, and he's a leader who loves to support others. He's the first choice mentor usually for new members and new club officers. For me, that's one of the beautiful things about stepping up in leadership in Toastmasters. The journey can be as unique as you are. The possibilities are waiting for you. It's up to you to decide to step up. I love this quote from Ralph Smedley, the founder of Toastmasters, when he talks about how ours is the only organisation I know dedicated to the individual. Because everything we do in Toastmasters is geared towards that mission of empowering individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. As a district leader, you're part of Toastmasters International. It's all about people. However many tasks you have to do, ultimately, it's all about people. Serving as a district leader is a great responsibility and an exciting opportunity. Your term of office is filled with the chance to renew your perspective, practice teamwork, develop your capacity to translate values and strategies into productive actions. You heard from people tonight about their experiences and the impact that it's had on them. Members of a district team depend on you as a leader to help them develop their goals and achievements. Clubs will see you as a facilitator of their success, and you get to bring a sense of enthusiasm, of fidelity and responsibility throughout your district. Encouraging excellence in club is fundamental to achieving the mission. Members receive the full benefits of their membership through the Toastmasters programme, and the district mission is about building those strong, healthy clubs and more of them so that we can help people and we can help more people as we do both of those things. I want to share with you a few thoughts on what's in it for us as we step up. I've told you what's been in it for me, or the short version. Firstly, you get to serve and you get to contribute. And I think that's quite important. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs that talks about as we meet basic needs, then higher needs become more powerful for us. And this, I think, although this is Maslow's hierarchy, applies to the Toastmasters experience. People come at the most fundamental level with a need to be met. And they ask themselves when they visit a club, could I meet this need here? And once they answer yes to that, then they're looking at safety. Do these evaluations make me feel okay? Would I be all right? Would I be all right with how these people speak to each other? Would I feel secure in this environment? And then comes that I am part of this. When they arrive and people know their names and welcome them and encourage them. And then when they achieve something, whether that's giving their first speech, their first table topic, reaching a level in pathways, whatever it is, there is something that brings a sense of achievement. And as that grows, we get to the point of self-actualization, where we're ready to give back. And this is something that we need to promote, to get people to that point of giving back. And a large part of what we do in leadership is doing just that. And as a district leader, you get to make that happen again and again as you support clubs, but also as you work with other less experienced leaders, helping them through their leadership journey. You also get to connect. As a club or district leader, you are a bridge. As a district leader, you're a bridge between clubs and the district. You facilitate the success of the clubs and you help the district develop its goals. You connect the clubs in your area so that they can gain from each other. You connect ideas, you connect people. You're in a great position to connect people with opportunity. Where are the next leaders coming from? Who has the great attitude? Who would you just love to see moving in success? You also get to collaborate. This quote from Helen Keller, I think, says it very well. Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. As part of a district leadership team, you are never, never alone. You have colleagues to work with, people who will support you when it's tough for you, and you can be there for them by return. And then you get to know something of your own character, because let's face it, in leadership, in any organization, challenges come. They may be your own personal challenges, for example, fears that you have, or something happens in your life, perhaps a health issue, a family issue, and you are tested then. But it can also be in the relationships with others you're working with, and your values are really put to the test. So it's a workout for your character. There's a ton of transferable skills. I'm not going to read them to you. You can read them yourself here. Because Toastmasters gives you that opportunity. It's learning by doing, and in this case, it's learning and gaining by serving. Serving your district is about so much more than educational credit or achieving the Distinguished Toastmaster. It is about the skills that you gain in the process and the impact that you make. Your district is going to be electing a whole pile of leadership roles for the next year. And of course, you have the opportunity to think about that as the service credit that you would gain towards your Distinguished Toastmaster Award if you're working that way. Your next steps are, could this be something for you? Seek out the information, look at the Toastmasters website, speak to people who've held the role before or are holding it at the moment. Speak to your mentors, to your district leadership committee chair and his team. And if I could advise you of anything, it would think about saying yes before you rush to say no. Back to you, immediate past district director.
Thank you very much indeed, Morag, for your presentation. Yes, you have started already. Can we give Morag a great, what we say in Irish, a bula boss, a great round of applause. Thank you very much indeed, Morag. I suppose the most emphatic thread that went through all your speech was how human it has been, your journey. You know, you behaved just no ego at all involved. It was just all about serving and serving Toastmasters, and how indirectly it benefited you and your achievements within it. So I congratulate you and salute you that you're first vice president. And I wish you every success into your journey in Toastmasters in the future. Now, we do have our chat master, Philip. Philip, have you any questions on board?
Thank you, Jared. There's a few questions popping up here in the chat. First one up here is, Morag, how do you think you would have developed as a leader, or how would the journey have been different if the first few people hadn't seen something in you and invited you to step up?
Thank you for that question. I think probably it would have taken a lot longer, because I believe that one of the things that Toastmasters does for us is grow our confidence. And I think that would have had to happen for me. It would just have taken a whole lot longer to get there if I had not had people who were there. And so that's a really important thing for me when I meet or when I see people do things. I want to have that conversation and just talk about what is it you're dreaming of? What is it you're working towards? Or yesterday, I'm a club officer at the moment, and I was at club officer training yesterday, and I saw one of the area directors in action at that training, delivering an incredible presentation with content that was spot on and relevant. And she was so engaging and working with everyone and well organized. And I'm busy messaging someone in the district leadership team to say, I hope you have her on your list for next year, because she needs to be there. We need her, and she could bring so much and gain so much in the process. So I think for me, it would just have taken longer. I probably would have got there in the end, I think. We'll never know.
No problem. Thank you very much, Morag. Next question I have here, like you mentioned, both as a district director and a regional advisor, you sort of had to deal with different countries, continents and cultures. And when doing this, how would you prepare when you're speaking to audiences, taking all those sort of things into consideration?
Before I speak anywhere, usually I have a call with whoever has invited me to speak so that we can have a chat about what the audience is expecting. You can't cover everything usually. There may be things that you don't get totally, but I think it's important to do that. I'm also a great fan of reading up. So when I was serving the Middle East, I bought several books about working in the Arab world so that I really understood that as a woman in the Arab world, you know, there is not one Arab world, there are different Arab worlds. And I think you have to understand that also. And the timing of when you go, and just because you went once, it could be different when you go back. So I was in Saudi Arabia in 2015, but if I were to go back today, Saudi Arabia has changed quite a bit. So I'd have to then update my knowledge of the current culture and what is acceptable.
No, that's perfect, Morag. I'm just having a quick look here. There's the only questions that are coming up in the chat. So just, is there anyone else there? There's any questions for Morag before we move on?
Me.
Go on, Jared.
Yes, Morag, I have one. And I have come from being the district leader back to more active in my own club currently. And I'm vice president of education. And, you know, it's very, I feel that the club is, I don't want to use depressed or whatever, but it's very hard to get them to have a committee meeting, etc. So I've done some of my own background work, and next Tuesday night is our next Toastmaster meeting. And I have 8 new potential guests coming on board, okay? So that as such, with regard to, I don't want to overcrowd them. And if you get my point of view, I'll be over enthusiastic, but I presume that's part of leadership also, maybe in just bringing new stuff to them. Yeah. Your comments, because I'm sure there are possibly many clubs because of COVID and Zoom, etc., are not thriving. Yeah.
So my home club, I'm a member of 4 clubs, I'll just tell you, 3 in my home district and 1 that's an online club that's not in any district. And my home, what I'd call my home club, the first club I joined, currently has, I think, 24 members. And when through COVID we had to go online, our founding president, who is American and is now living back in the US, decided she would rejoin the club. And so when we came to choose a president this year, we thought, wouldn't it be really cool if we asked her to be our president? Again, the club is now 16 years old, in fact. Wouldn't it be cool if she came back as the president? And she said, I'd love to, because I love this club. And I think as a president, I think that's actually quite important, that you need to find, you may not immediately feel it, but you need to find some kind of love for your club in bringing it. And what's been interesting with her is in club meetings, she doesn't talk about COVID. She doesn't talk about we all know it because we all live it and we all experience it. She's kind of like, this is you stepping out of COVID world for a couple of hours on a Wednesday evening. And so we're going to be here and focused on you. You know, I think in this season, I've talked quite a lot in different places about there's no better time to be a Toastmaster, because in Toastmasters, you learn skills, you have the opportunity to achieve things, and you get to connect with other people. And I think when we remember that in our safe space, that actually let's be free of all of that and let's focus on our growth, the growth of others who are coming, making this great experience together. You know, it's just step out of the world for a little while. It is our reality, there's no question of that, but create this space and remember why we're here. We're here to develop each other and to be connected. And I think that's a really important thing to remember in all of this. And as you visit with, as those new guests come visit with you, you know, what's in it for them? What do they want out of this? And how are you going to help them get it? And then it's a whole new, you're in a new learning environment with new people.
Much appreciated, Morag. Thank you for the words of encouragement also, because it is great. Much appreciated. Now it's just that, thank you very much, Philip, for being chatmaster. I appreciate that. And now I'd like to hand over to Elizabeth Jordan, our Club Growth Director, who is going to give you a vote of thanks for your presentation this evening, Morag. Over to you, Elizabeth, please.
Thank you, IPDD, and great welcome to our first DP. Morag is always a, and also welcome to RA Patricia O'Reilly and to all my fellow Toastmasters. It's always a pleasure to have you in D71, Morag. It's like, I hope for you, it's like coming home to family. We always welcome seeing you. And we're extremely honored because you come to us, I think, with no frills and fuss, but you're someone who's walked that journey from being the club president to looking forward to being international president in 2 years' time. So you brought to us tonight magnificent experience, told through your own personal stories and then what's in it for us. So thank you very much for that. I could spend 5 or 10 minutes because there's so many gems. The beautiful thing is this has been recorded. So I'm just hoping people are just going to go and watch it again. But some things that, some of the phrases and words you use that I think were very touching or very thoughtful, were there possibilities waiting for us. And I think in District 51, where we'll be celebrating our 50th year, I think for everyone in the district, there are possibilities for everyone. And I just love your final sentence. Think about saying yes before saying no. And I think that message has got through to everyone. We're people of values. We know the values, we can recite them. And you spoke to them so well. The opportunity to serve the district is there and bring with it the integrity, the respect, the service, and the excellence. And again, I'm going to keep repeating this because you've said it. Think about saying yes before saying no. It's about the mindset we have. It's about how motivated we are. And I think ultimately, I think it's about what we want for District 71. It's our 50th year, and I know we want great things. I'm really happy that you came tonight to give us a great speech and to get us set on the right path. And I hope you'll inspire lots of people to go out there and apply for these wonderful positions. So thank you, it's wonderful to see you. And I hope it's not too long again before we see you back in District 71. So thank you, First Vice President.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for your reply to Morag's presentation and your vote of thanks. Indeed, it was an honor, Morag, to have you and to have all our presenters this evening. To have Patricia O'Reilly, our past district director and regional advisor, and to Larry, our parliamentarian, to Marion, the division director, and to Eric, the area director. Thank you. It was great also to see many of our members from District 71 being with us this evening. And also we had some members from District 91. Kate Minaforta, you're very, very welcome. And also there were others from different parts of the world, United States, Africa, different places, in other districts. It was great to have you on board. Hope you got benefit from the evening, and there's a recording available of this Prior to this evening's meeting, we've had a busy weekend because we had district officer training yesterday and then division director meeting for half the day today. So it was right a consuming weekend. But indeed, you crowned the whole thing, Morag, by your presentation this evening. It was a lovely human story. It was a journey which is a credit to you with incredible success, with humility and humbleness. I wish you very well, both this year, next year, and for the year, that's the big year when you're international president. You'll be the second European that takes up that seat and mantle, and we will really recognize that as a privilege. So there's little further for me to do, but that you all have a very safe 2022, and thank you for attending. I also note that there were a couple of people apologizing to me, quite a number, that they will look forward to listening to the recording. So again, to everybody, thank you for this evening and thank you for attending. I wish you a very, very safe life. Keep well.